We are now halfway through the 2016 NFL season, and Week 8 had a little bit of everything from missed kicks to overtime wins to sex toys on the field. We're going to cover all that and more on this week's edition of Big Predictions. Welcome everybody to this Week 9 edition of Big Predictions. Big E here. Of course, this past week was a very interesting week, I must say. We had a lot of interesting stuff happen. Yeah, so let's get into it. For my Week 8 record, I went 6-6, and of course the Redskins and the Bengals tied in London, so that will be a tie, like I established last week. I'm not going to count ties. So 6-6 on the week, not too terribly bad, not my worst record. Which brings my overall record to 72-46. Still a very good overall season record. I'll take that record, not bad at all. Let's get into my Week 8 awards. Now the first award I'm going to hand out, of course, last week I did say I was going to hand out more awards along with my Play of the Week award. But the first award I want to hand out is Big MVP of the Week award. Of course, I evaluated big-time player performances from this past week, and after major consideration, as much as I hate to say it, the first ever Big MVP of the Week award goes to Tom Brady. He had a hell of a performance against the Bills, so he is the first ever winner of my MVP of the Week award. The next award Next award I'm calling it is my least valuable player of the week award. I don't even know what this trophy says. It's Titans Invitational First Place 1986. 1980. What? Okay. Yeah, this is a good trophy to have for my least valuable player of the award. Least valuable player of the week award. And that goes to the entire Cleveland Browns organization. You had your first win in the books. You had a double-digit lead. And you blew it against one of the worst teams in the AFC. Besides you guys. You know, you guys are the worst. Besides you guys, you're the worst team in the AFC. But the Jets are one of the other worst teams in the AFC. So you are the winners of the first ever least valuable player of the award.
Carr to Roberts. He's got it. It's still on his feet. Roberts. Ball game. Raiders win.
Alright, now I've got my awards out of the way. I want to talk about the overtime game in London between the Redskins and the Bengals. Alright, so both of these two teams, of course, tied 27-27 going in overtime. And the Redskins are in good position to win the game in overtime. You know, another chip shot field goal when this happens. Check it out.
Justin Hopkins from 34. His kick is no good. Wide to the left.
Yeah, that happened again. Deja vu from last week. But that's not the only time this happened. Here's a clip from the end of regulation from the Oakland and Tampa Bay game. Sebastian Janikowski is supposed to be one of the best in the league. But watch this.
55 field goals of 50 yards or longer in his career, the most in NFL history. One more would give the Raiders a win, and this one is no good! Janikowski misses!
NFL kickers are paid millions of dollars a year to make field goals. And you have to make the field goals, especially to win games. So, here's introducing this all-new Kickstand Award, because these kickers can't make clutch field goals. They are terrible and need to get their heads out of their asses, otherwise they need to be cut and replaced for friggin' other people. I have a friend who's a soccer player who can make more field goals than these guys. New Kickstand Award goes to Sebastian Janikowski and Nick Folk. You guys are flippin' amazing. predictions. Alright, so moving on to week 9 now. Teams on a bye this week are the Cardinals, the Bears, the Bengals, the Texans, the Patriots, and the Redskins. Of course, 6 more teams on a bye this week, so another short week for picks. We have the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Falcons getting a good big win over the Packers, and the Bucs, they lost in overtime. So I'm going to take the Falcons in this one. They're still a really good team this year. So the Falcons over the Bucs. The next game is the Lions and the Vikings. The Vikings are coming off 2 straight losses, and they just did not look good in those 2 losses. I mean, they looked terrible. So that's why I'm going to take the Lions. Yeah, they did lose. Yeah, the Lions lost last week, but the Vikings just have looked like their ordinary selves the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to take the Lions. Next game, the Eagles and the Giants. Both of these teams, the Eagles lost in overtime to the Cowboys. The Giants coming off a bye week. But I'm going to take the Giants in this one. They're at home. This is a must-win situation for either team. Whoever loses this game is pretty much stuck in the basement of the NFC East with almost no chance of a playoff berth. So I think the Giants have to win this one. So the Giants over the Eagles. Next game, the Jets and the Dolphins, and oh my word, this is my shit-fest game of the week. Of course, this is a battle for last place in the AFC East, and I think the Dolphins are going to win. The Jets beat the Browns, but it don't take much to do that, so I'm going to take the Dolphins. Next game, the Jaguars and the Chiefs. I'm going to make this short and sweet. The Chiefs are going to win. Why? Because the Jaguars are still not good, and the Chiefs, they're really decent. So, the Chiefs. Next game is the Cowboys and the Browns, and here's another game I am making short and sweet. It's the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the best team in the NFC. The Browns are the worst team in football. So, the Cowboys are going to win, obviously. The next game, the Steelers and the Ravens. The Steelers are still without Ben Roethlisberger for another few weeks. The Ravens, they still haven't looked that good this season. So I'm going to take the Steelers on this one. I think Landry Jones is going to lead this team to a win. So the Steelers over the Ravens. Next game, the Saints and the 49ers. The Saints, they got the big upset over Seattle this past week. And the 49ers, they continue to trash up the NFC and the entire NFL for that matter. So I'm going to take the Saints in this one just because the 49ers are terrible. Next game, the Panthers and the Rams. The Panthers actually looked very good against Arizona this past week. Well, they looked all right. It was just Arizona didn't look good. So in the Rams are going to keep... I feel the Rams are going to keep losing until they start Jared Goff and get Case Keenum out of there. Case Keenum, he threw 4 interceptions against the Giants, which I was really happy about that. But looking at it as a Rams fan, you need to get him the hell out of there, because he's just continued to stink that up. And well, the playoff hopes are pretty much done at this point. So the Panthers over the Rams. Next game, the Colts and the Packers. The Packers couldn't finish against Atlanta this past week, and the Colts. Both of these teams come off losses this week, but I'm going to take the Colts. The Packers, they still don't look very good this year. So the Colts over the Packers. Next game, the Titans and the Chargers. This is kind of a tough game to predict because both of these teams are not the best. But I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. As long as they can the Chargers, as long as they can finish a game, if they can finish this game, they can win. Because they have the potential there. So the Chargers over the Titans. And the Sunday night game, a battle for the lone possession of the AFC West. We have the Broncos and the Raiders. This was kind of a tough one. Now, the Raiders have their best start since 2001. They're 5-0 on the road, even though this one is at home. I'm going to take the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to win this game. I think they can beat the Broncos and take sole possession of the AFC West. So the Raiders over the Broncos. And the final game of the week is the Monday night game, the Bills and the Seahawks. And Games like this are why the NFL ratings are at an all-time low. But I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. Bills are coming off a big-time loss against the Pats. I think they've lost 2 straight now. So, the Seahawks over the Bills. That wraps it up for my Week 9 NFL predictions. But I'm not finished for tonight yet. As you may notice, I have an S hat on, and S stands for Stevens, which is my high school, the high school I go to. And our soccer program, our boys varsity soccer team, is in the Northern Maine Championship game against Washington Academy tonight. These two teams, WA comes in here 16-0, undefeated. They haven't lost a game in like 3 years. And they're the defending state champions of Class C. And the GSA boys, they're ranked number 9. But they're a hell of a lot better than that. So I decided I'd go in and predict this game tonight. Hope without showing as much bias as I can. I'll try to remain neutral here. First, a preview of this game. WA beat us in both regular season matchups this season. The first time was 7-0, and the second time was probably one of WA's toughest games of the season against us. They beat us 5-3, but we dominated most of that game. And of course, they're meeting up here in the Northern Maine final tonight. It's going to be one hell of a game, I'm feeling like. And I think third time's the charm for GSA. And I think they're going to get the win tonight, 4-3 in overtime. The Eagles will win and go on to the state championship. Once again, that is GSA wins 4-3 in overtime. That's just about gonna wrap it up here tonight, guys. Thank you all for watching, as always. Of course, come back every Wednesday for a new episode. I'll see you guys next week. And until next time, guys, as always, so long.